Three NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Sunday, September 24th. Before you get started, you guys, check out the link in the description below of this video. You can sign up for our premium Discord, $9.30 per month. It comes out to 31 cents per day here. Again, this is where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks, as well as we have some other premium cappers in there that post all of their research, plays, and analysis as well. I do also need to mention I'm not a gambling expert, and this is not financial advice. These are simply just plays I'm personally looking at making, hopefully giving you guys some insight and analysis to then make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one is pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. But let's get into it, you guys. 3 plays today, right? So I normally do 2 plays here, but I definitely one of these plays today. I think maybe by kickoff tomorrow, it's definitely going to bump. So I wanted to give 3 plays. Obviously, if you're watching this video and the play that I'm talking about, it's going to be the first play, and it hasn't bumped. I recommend getting it because it's extreme value right now currently. But 3 player props here for today's video for the NFL Sunday slate. Yeah, let's not waste any time, you guys. Let's just get right into it. So the first play, and the play that I do think will bump, is going to be Deshaun Watson over 30.5 pass attempts. I actually gave this over in the Discord, in the premium Discord. I gave this, I think, on Thursday or even maybe Friday morning. I gave this play. The value is just too great for me here, in my opinion. For Deshaun Watson. So taking a look at this game, the Cleveland Browns versus the Tennessee Titans, right? We know the Tennessee Titans are just a pass funnel friendly offense, right? And this game is a home game for Cleveland. It's a 3.5 point spread, 39.5 over under. Weather should not be a factor here whatsoever. But right off the bat, the first thing, no Nick Chubb. No Nick Chubb in this backfield for the Cleveland Browns. It should already, that alone should create more pass opportunities for Deshaun Watson, right? So we take a look at Deshaun Watson in his, I guess, game log with the Browns. He's gone over this line in 3 starts with the Browns, right? Two games with 29. So, again, not too far off. But his most recent game against Pittsburgh threw 40 pass attempts in that game. And obviously with Nick Chubb coming out in the second quarter, those pass attempts had an uptick, right? But specifically versus the Tennessee Titans, like I said, pass funnel offense in the NFL this season, right, through 2 games. The 4th highest yards per attempt in the NFL, as well as they're up here, what is this, the 8th or 9th most pass attempts total to quarterback position in the NFL. But why I like this play is that they're giving up the fewest yards per carry in the NFL, 2.65 yards per carry. They already lost Nick Chubb. So they're on backup running backs here against the best run defense in the NFL. It's presenting a great opportunity and a great game environment here for Deshaun Watson to go over this line. If we even go back to last season, right? Last season, we know the Tennessee Titans have, really since Mike Vrabel has been the head coach, have been extremely tough to run on. Yards per carry, Titans, 2nd fewest yards per carry in the NFL last season. And if we go to last season across the entire season, the Tennessee Titans, the 5th most pass attempts to the quarterback position in the NFL. So it presents itself a great opportunity here for Deshaun Watson. Now, if we take a look on Outlier, again, there's a link at the top of the description, or not at the top, but in the description below this video to get a 7-day free trial with Outlier. It's a research tool that I use every single day. You get a 7-day free trial by using the link in the description. I recommend checking that out. But look at these odds, you guys. Minus 184 on Caesars, minus 150 on BetMGM, and minus 140 on DraftKings to go over 30.5 pass attempts. So given these odds, I definitely think this will bump up to 31, and I think it's still playable at 31, but at 30.5, I think just presents itself with great value. And I am going to be uploading this video and making this video live as soon as I'm done with it. So if it is still at 30.5, I like it a lot here. Taking a look at some other things for Deshaun Watson, you can see how he's kind of played against Tennessee in his career, with obviously back in Houston. This is years ago before everything happened with him, and he's played well against the Tennessee Titans, right? Fantasy score points, tremendous, and then pass attempts as well. He's gone over this line in 4 of 6 starts versus the Tennessee Titans. But if you just take a deeper dive, you guys, look at the game logs of quarterbacks versus the Titans last season, right? The only 3 quarterbacks that missed this line, Davis Mills, just take that in. He finished with 28 and 29, so he missed, and then Daniel Jones missed in week 1 of the NFL season on the road. He finished with 21 pass attempts, and that's when they were really pounding the rock with Saquon Barkley. But besides that, look at these pass attempts from quarterbacks last season versus the Tennessee Titans: 32, 37, 37, 38, 38, 39, 39, 41. 1, 2, 3, 6 different quarterbacks threw 40-plus pass attempts last season versus the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, the most pass funnel friendly defense in the National Football League. And even when we take a look at this season, both the quarterbacks in the 2 games this season versus the Titans have cleared this line. 33 for Carr and 41 for Justin Herbert last week against the Tennessee Titans on the road. So Deshaun Watson over 30.5 pass attempts is the first play here. I really like this a lot. Like I said, odds are just tremendous over on Outlier, you guys. Minus 184 on Caesars. So definitely take advantage of it. I think here, in my opinion, tremendous odds in our favor. The second play is going to be an NFL first half prop here, and it's going to be a fantasy score because that's all that is available. And if you've been following my channel since even last season, you know this has been a wagon. It's Mahomes over 12 fantasy score in the first half. We usually see this at 12.5, so we get it kind of a push potential here at 12. But I like this play a lot. So we take a look at Patrick Mahomes. Just in general, he loves playing. There's a few narratives here. He loves playing at home, right? He's just tremendous at home. His splits at home, career-wise, are just extremely high, as most quarterbacks' splits at home versus away are extremely high. But he just really loves playing at home. The second narrative is he's facing the Chicago Bears, right? And the Chiefs should be able to take care of the Bears pretty easily. Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites here. But forget that the Chicago Bears passed on Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 draft. It took Mitch Trubisky. And I know Patrick Mahomes definitely cares about that, right? He's talked about it before that he thought the Bears were going to draft him, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, he's happy being with the Chiefs, but there is some just added determination for Patrick Mahomes to kind of come out and dominate the Bears at home here on Sunday. It's a 1 p.m. afternoon slate type of game here, but it's a great matchup. The Bears on the season through 2 games, giving up the second most yards per attempt in the NFL to the quarterback position, 9.21 yards per attempt to the quarterback position. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes slings the ball all over the field. Travis Kelce's back in this lineup. And we saw just last week, we can't really see first half fantasy score for quarterbacks, but just last week he finished with 9.86 in just really weird type of game. And then in week 1, finished with 16.5 fantasy points in the first half, right? So taking a look at some other things for Patrick Mahomes, fantasy score game log last season at home, right? Look at the wagon that Patrick Mahomes, this is obviously full game, but I mean, his lowest fantasy score game at home last season was 17.3. 17.3 for Patrick Mahomes. Even this season, we've seen Baker Mayfield finish with 18.4, and Jordan Love had 23 fantasy points, 245, 3 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield threw for 300 yards. And, I mean, the Bears are pretty banged up, you guys. The Bears, they just lost their defensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator that has been the defensive coordinator is no longer the defensive coordinator. So they're going to have a brand new person calling the defensive plays. Eddie Jackson is doubtful, not looking like he's going to play. And then starting nickelback Kyler Gordon is also out, right? So that's 2 starters that they're potentially missing in that defensive backfield, more specifically in the secondary. It should open up a ton of things here for Patrick Mahomes in the first half. And we take a look at some fantasy score calculator. I mean, 115 passing yards and 2 touchdowns gets him 12.6 fantasy. Right, that's all he really needs. 115 and 2 TDs. I think that is super attainable for Patrick Mahomes. That's not including any rushing yards, and we know his passing yards in the first half isn't up, but we know he could smash the over on that. If it was up, I may take his passing yards, but 115 and 2 touchdowns without any sort of rushing stats at all gives him 12.6. So just take that in, all things considered, how banged up the Bears secondary is. Patrick Mahomes at home with the narrative of the Bears not drafting him. I like the 12 fantasy score in the first half here for Patrick Mahomes. And also, I think his full game, taking a look at his full game, I think his full game is like at 25, or his full game's at 24 flat. So I'm definitely pivoting and taking first half because with the Chiefs being 12-point favorites in this one. Patrick Mahomes over 12 fantasy score as the second play. And then the third play here that I do like is going to be Jamir Gibbs over 3.5 receptions. And it's funny because on the Thursday Night Football video that I made to open the season, these were the two plays in that video that I made here. Going back to him here, Jamir Gibbs, right, 3.5 receptions. He was like every community play, I would say, on that Thursday Night Football to open the season, and he finished with 2 receptions in that game. But Seattle Seahawks, he finished with 7 receptions, you guys. Let's get into why I like this. So Jamir Gibbs, just take this in, you guys. He ran 22 routes against the Seattle Seahawks. Right, had a 40.9% target share, 1.7 yards per reception, but he ran 22 routes, and I think he ran like 15 of those routes in the second half after David Montgomery went out of the game, right? He ran 22 routes for a running back. That's absolutely insane. We know that the Detroit Lions are looking to use Jamir Gibbs as a pass catcher. He was a dominant pass catcher in college, right, where they don't even check down that much to the running back position. He caught 42 passes in his last year at Alabama, 42 passes in his final season at Alabama. We look at some other things here. David Montgomery's out, right? He's doubtful. I'm pretty sure he's going to be out for a few weeks. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, let's actually take a look at what's going on with him, and let's take a look at what's going on with Josh Reynolds. Amon-Ra on track despite questionable tag, so I guess he was a full participant. I don't think this should be a factor, but if he is limited at all, that should help Jamir Gibbs. And then I guess Josh Reynolds is going to play as well. Either way, both these guys dealing with some little nags and things like that. Should open up some things for Jamir Gibbs as well. And then we take a look at some odds over on Outlier. Minus 128 on FanDuel, minus 120 on DraftKings to go over this line here. Running backs, game log versus the Falcons last season. Decent amount of running backs. Juszczyk, Eckler, and Fournette all cleared. Eckler had 7. Fournette had 10 here. But it just presents a great opportunity. He ran 22 routes, you guys. 22 routes, 3.5 receptions with no David Montgomery now anymore. I definitely think presents itself a great opportunity for Jamir Gibbs. Also, this game is at home for the Detroit Lions. Exactly the same scenario in which he caught 7 passes versus the Seahawks last week inside on the turf. Should be a pretty easy over here in my opinion. So here are the 3 plays for this YouTube video. It's going to be Deshaun Watson over 30.5 pass attempts, Patrick Mahomes over 12 fantasy score, and Jamir Gibbs over 3.5 receptions. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about these 3 plays here. All I ask you guys is drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button. I do drop content like this every single day, and as always, let's cash.